place. There is no hiddenness, there's no ugly people. Like I said, I was a citizen who got onto this as mayor because I truly felt I could get something done. I did not get on here because I felt I could do some corruption. There's not enough stuff going on in this community for that to be happening. I've been open and honest with everything that I work on. And I know that this request is about, Dan, you and I do talk. We have talked about grants. We've been on a committee we've been working on bicycle racks. I work with the Sister City Committee and the Youth Task Force, and the Library Board. There's all these outside committees with the Morrison area groups that I've been working with. These are the things that I come back and Dan is involved in, so those are the things that we talk about, city issues. And it's not even a lot. You know, there's a lot of things that I work on in a lot of different groups that have nothing to do with the city, but because as mayor, I'm being invited to these things. So no hidden stuff, nothing to share. No emails. It's, you know, I'm going to try to start doing a couple days here at City Hall in the office just because of the fact that I need the extra space and this way we can phone call in here and other things. So just, you know, like I said, I'm familiar with the handwriting on one of these and, you know, there's nothing out there. So.
Mr. President, may I?
Sure.
I had a call from a member of the Planning and Zoning Committee this past week. And in the conversation, the new possible mural, I don't say that very well. Frank, how do you say it?
Mural.
Mural. On the former Schaefer Brother building, or IGA building, was brought up. Frank Gosiak would be the painter of that mural. In fact, Terry Lurk.
That's wrong.
Mural?
I'm not planning on painting it this.
Let me finish. I'm talking right now. In fact, Terry Lurkey did an article in the Morrison County Record. She publicized a lengthy article in September, which of course was during the election, in which Frank Gosiak was running. And Frank, in the article, pointed out how the Dewey Radke house would be part of that mural.
Could be.
Gaining, hopefully, votes for Frank on the west side due to the hard feelings that people have and still have with the historic house being torn down so quickly and quietly. Also, in this conversation, it was told to me that the city's new sign ordinance did not allow this mural to be placed on the IGA building. Frank is part of that Planning and Zoning Committee that approved the new sign ordinance and made the recommendation to the city in July. Frank was told by the planning and zoning member that I spoke to that after the sign ordinance lawsuit was settled, the ordinance would be changed to make the mural possible for him. Is this an election? I just think this is an election fraud, and I don't know how I should go about investigating that. Dan, would I talk to the city attorney?
Well, I think you could talk to her, certainly, but the Secretary of State's office normally
Secretary of
will
State.
see if there's election issues out there, certainly the Secretary of State's office.
Thank you.
I'd like to respond. For one thing, I never planned on putting my hand on one brush on there. When I brought this up, it's a community project for the kids. If you read the article in the paper, I was looking for volunteers. The mural cannot go to full width of it because I have talked to Mr. Lochner. I have spoken to the Planning Commission. We cannot put it on the whole thing. We could do half of it, according to 150 feet from residential. So I said, well, if that's what we have to do is half of it, if the owner of the building would like to put a little wall up out, you could do the whole thing because it would not be in view according to what this is the mural policy states. This can be amended later on. We do not discuss or deal with sign ordinances. This is not a sign, it is a mural. This is something that may be discussed later, that maybe we just picked a number out of the sky and said 150 feet. Nobody was aware of the impact on it at that time. So in truth, I was not even aware if the mural goes through, this is something that has to go through the council, because according to that ordinance, it cannot, even the design of it has to be okayed by the council. So that has to come through this whole program. And if you're saying election stuff, election ploy, what are you doing right now, Mr. Crowder? You're bringing this up because you feel this is something that may gain you some kind of reputation or not, I don't know, but to me, that's what I'm seeing. You have to look at this is a project for the kids. I'm still willing to go for it. I even said I want no money for this. I don't want a thing, I just want to do something that maybe is beneficial for the west side. And as far as my conscience concerning this, I have to answer to God. I'm a Christian man and I believe that. So I'm not trying any divisive thing, I'm trying to get something going on the west side.
Let the
As far
Secretary of
as,
State figure it out.
can I figure it out? As far as the Dewey Radke building, I was actually the last caretaker there. I took care of the property. I've never voted to tear that place down and never intended on it. I can say that out in the public.
It's all
You
a
can
spin,
say-
Frank. It's
you
all a
can-
spin.
I'm just
They're
saying.
great at spinning the truth.
I'm sorry, Mr. Crowder, I'm not gonna get
You
into
know
the
what I
debate.
mean. You know what, you make fun of
I'm
it.
just explaining my
You're great at
situation.
spinning, you and your sister spin.
I-
I think we've handled this enough, let's go on. The announcements are, the planning commission has a public hearing on Monday,